In this video, we're going to display information using box plots. First of all, we'll do it from a table, and then we'll do it from a cumulative frequency graph. If you're revising, you can pause the video and have a go at question 1. And then we've got question 2. You'll probably need to print that out to be of any use. And that's it. Okay. So question 1, we have to draw box plots for the noon temperature in degrees C at 2 resorts, recorded over a year, given the information below. So for resort A, we're told the minimum is 5, the lower quartile is 17, the median is 21, upper quartile is 24, and the maximum is 32. I've already got a little line here. This is going to represent my minimum of 5. So if I go across to 5, just going to draw a line there. I need to draw a box plot for A and B, so I'm leaving space for B down below. Then take my next one, 17 for the lower quartile, so I need a line at 17. And then the median is 21, so a line at 21. Upper quartile 24, and the maximum 32. So you don't need to mark on what they are. You should, when you read a box plot, you should be able to interpret that's the smallest value, the minimum, the largest value, the maximum, and then we've got the lower quartile and upper quartile. That represents the middle 50%, and what you do is make that into a box. So you can see the middle 50% is your box, with the median somewhere in the inside that, not necessarily in the middle of that box. The left of the box then represents the first 25%, and we call that a whisker. And in the top 25% is another whisker. Looks like so. So 25%, 25%, 25%, and another 25%. That makes the middle 50% as well. Okay, we're just going to repeat that for B. I'll do it a little bit quicker. Got a minimum of -3, lower quartile of 12, median of 23, upper quartile of 25, and a maximum of 34. So there are your markers. That's the lower quartile up to the upper quartile. That'll form a box. And then that whisker is the bottom 25%. Make sure the line is straight and better than mine there. And that's your upper 25%, the highest 25%. Okay, part B is to comment on the differences of the two distributions, just to make it clear that one's A and that one is B. Now sometimes you can see and hear some information, like automatically you can see which one's got the higher median without looking at the box plots. But from the box plots, you look at the median is the line inside the box. So first thing I'd be saying is that A has a higher median than B. And then what does that mean? What can we conclude, or what can we interpret from that? Well, it's about noon temperature at 2 resorts, so you would say that B is hotter than A. Just going to write that in, and then we'll move on to remember from another objective, when you're commenting on differences, you want to look at the average and the spread. So we'll do the average first. So there I've summarized that resort B is hotter than resort A as it has a higher median. And then we want to know how spread out the data is. And there's 2 ways we can look at that. Hopefully you can see it's obvious though that B has got a higher spread. Look how spread out the values are for the temperatures on B compared to A. A is more compressed. So we would say that B is more spread out. What does that mean if it's got a bigger spread? Bigger spread is okay, but you need to say bigger spread in temperatures. It wouldn't be great. You may want to say in this case that the temperatures are less consistent in B, or the temperature is more variable in B. Because it's got a larger range. Now, range is only one way to look at how spread out that is. You can also look at the middle 50%, which is called the interquartile range. The spread of that middle 50% in A is a lot smaller than the middle 50% in B. So you could use range, or you could say interquartile range, because they both indicate that B has got a larger range. I'll just summarize that in text here. So to summarize again, resort B has a larger range and interquartile range, meaning its temperature is more variable or it's less consistent. We can then use that information to answer C as well. Mary wants to go on holidays in July. Which resort would you recommend and why? Really depends on the individual. What do you think Mary wants, I suppose, is important, but maybe what this example highlights is that even though resort B has got a higher average temperature, there's not a big difference in it. But what you can say is that B is very variable what the temperature could be. So if you're going on holidays and it's only 1 week in the year and you want it to be good, you want to make sure it's good. You don't want it to be a week of the temperatures being really low. So you might sacrifice 1 or 2 degrees in like average temperature to make sure that it's overall the temperature is going to be good throughout the whole week. So to summarize, I'll put it in text now, but I'd be going for A. So resort A, as the average temperature is not much lower, but the temperature is a lot more reliable. And I suppose you used the word reliable there. When I answered this question, I could say it's more variable for B, or you could say it's less reliable or less consistent. Different words, depending on the context of the question, are more or less appropriate, even though they can mean the same thing. Okay, question 2. It's all together there. We've got a table to get into a cumulative frequency and then box plots. So the table gives information about the ages of 160 employees of an IT company, Banana, and they're as all there for you to see. We have to write down the modal class. That's the most frequent class, so we were looking at this one here. That's the highest frequency, and that is the class there that we want to use in our answer. And then which interval does the median lie? Well, because the numbers are so large, I could just be rough here and say the median is going to be in around the 80th value. And the first 44 values are in here, and the next 56 are in there, which makes that 9. The first 100 values are in the first 2 groups. So the median's going to be already in one of the first 2 groups, because that's already past halfway. You only get to 44 here. You're trying to get to 80, so 80th value is going to be in this group here. So the median is also in the group 25 to 35. In part C, we have to complete the cumulative frequency table. You'll notice here that these groups are not exactly the same. The first one is, so you could say 44. But then the next one is 15 to 35. Another way of saying, because nobody's below 15, you could say all the ages are 35 or less, but they just went 35 to 15 because nobody's less than 15. But 35 to 15 would be 15 to 25, those people, plus the people who are 25 to 35. So we'd add those 2 groups up, and that would give us 100. Then we've got 34 are in the next group, so add that to 100, keep a running total, 1, 3, 4, and then add the 19, 157, and add 7 to get 160. Remember, cumulative frequency is just adding them up as you go along, a running total. On the grid opposite, draw a cumulative frequency graph for your table. If I just remind you, when you're drawing a cumulative frequency graph, you're plotting the upper limit against the cumulative frequency. So I'm going to do that. Now I'll do the first one, and then I'll just pause the video and do the rest. We'll do the first 2, sorry. There is nobody aged 15 or below. So if I go to 15, I can put an X at the bottom because there's nobody that age. The next group's 25, which is going to be here. I need to go up to 44, which is, there's 40. This is worth 20. The big 10 squares is worth 20. So each square must be worth 2. So 42, 44 is going to be there. I'll pause the video and make it all neater now. And voila, we have our points drawn and ready for us. Now I dread this bit on the screen, trying to go through these points accurately. You need to make sure you go through the points. If you don't go through the points, you'll have to rub it out. And that's what I'll have to do. So there's the first one. I wouldn't recommend doing it one by one. You sort of have to see the shape overall. If you do it like this, it might look a wee bit too straight and not curved. Not too bad. Happy with that. Okay, so there's my cumulative frequency graph. What do we have to do with that? So on the grid opposite, draw a cumulative frequency graph. Done that. Part E is draw a box plot above your graph to represent the data. Okay, box plot. Let's have a look at our graph and let's try and remember what needs to go on a box plot. So I've got myself some markers. Now the first one, there's nobody below the age of 15, so 15 would be the minimum. If I look at the maximum, there's nobody above the age of 65. So there's my maximum. Then how do I get my lower quartile, upper quartile, median? Well, I know there's 160 employees, so the median is the middle person, which will be the 80th. So I need to go across from 80 and then read down on that value, which is 31. That's where I need to put this marker, 31. The lower quartile is a quarter of 160, so that'll be 40. So read across at 40, and then read down. I'm getting 24 there. So my marker for lower quartile has to be at 24. And then my upper quartile, that's 3/4 or 3/40 in this case, that'll be at the 120 mark. And just to be accurate, you can see that was a bit rash. It's in the middle of those two squares. So not the easiest, but if that's where it lands, that's where it lands. Don't make your line like sideways and pretend it's something that's not. Pretend that didn't happen. Looks like 40.5 from what I can see. So my 40.5. Okay, they are the lines that I need to create my box plot. Remember, the box is the middle, 50%, and the whiskers go on the outside. So the youngest, 25%, the bulk of 50% of the ages, and then the oldest 25% of there. Use your graph. We're now on part F. Use your graph to find an estimate for the median. Well, we just worked that out and we did the box plot. That's 31. And then it asks to work out the interquartile range. So if you can remember, the numbers were 40.5 and 24. So the upper quartile was 40.5 and the lower quartile was 24. So the interquartile range is the difference of those two, which would be 16.5. Then part G, from the graph, estimate how many employees were over 50 years old. So the key number here, first of all, before we try to understand it, is let's go to 50 and see what number we get. 50 years old. So 50 is here. And if I go across, we'll get there yet. 140. They were twos. 100. So 140, 142, 144, 146. So what does that one? I'll just write that down before I forget it. 146. So what's the question, and then what does that 146 mean that we just worked out? We have to estimate how many employees were over 50 years old. So we went to 50, and we got 146. That means 146 employees are 50 years old or less. So it's the remainder that are over 100, that are over 50. So we've got to get, there's 160 employees. We've got to take off 146, which means there are only 14 employees that are over 50. Okay, now we've got another IT company, Dull, has 80 employees. The age of the youngest employee is 24. The eldest is 54. The median is 38. Lower quartile 30 and upper quartile 44. Part H says on the grid, draw a box plot to show information about the ages of the employees. So we've got a box plot now just from, it's not a table, but they pretty much just give you the answers here. I'll try and remember these numbers from smallest to biggest as far as I can go. 24, 30, 38. 24, 30, 38. 24, 30, 38. I think that one was 44, but I'll just double check. 44 and 54. 44 and 54. So they are my key markers. That's the minimum to the lower quartile. Then we connect the lower quartile with the upper quartile to create a box, and from the upper quartile to the maximum to create our whisker. So we've then got, hopefully you can see, a box plot for banana and a box plot for Dull. Forget about how deep or how high this one is in comparison. Probably should have done the same heights, but that's done now. The box plot's more to do with how far across things are. And that's what we have to do in part I. We have to, in part I, compare the ages of the two IT companies. So for repetition from the other previous questions, when you see compare, you're looking at average and then you're looking at spread. So average, I'm looking at this line here and I want to know, is it higher or lower for banana? And it's considerably lower for banana. So I'm going to just type in here, banana has a lower median. What does that mean? Well, it means on average the ages in banana are lower, or the employees are younger. So the employees in banana are younger as they have a lower median. Or conversely, you could say the employees in Dull are older as they have a higher median. We then want to mention spread. So what do I type in for this one? Well, for spread, I'd like to look at maybe the interquartile range. How wide are the boxes? They're quite similar without doing any calculation. But you can see here, looking at the range of Dull is a lot smaller than the range of banana. So that's what I'm going to comment on for spread. There's a bigger spread in the ages in banana. What does that mean, bigger spread? I would say the ages in banana are more varied. It's probably the most appropriate. Consistency is not really a thing to do with age, just the ages are more varied. I'll type that in now. Okay, and just to finish off, we've got there that the ages of employees in banana are more varied as they have a larger range. And you could put that on its head and say the ages of employees in Dull are less varied as they have a smaller range.